Hey guys, Miss Hartfield checking in from Boston, Massachusetts. So, what I predicted many months ago, early June, regarding this land has come true. I heard from a reputable source that this land was sold and that they believe that there are going to be apartments built here, apartment buildings built here. They say affordable housing. Whoever sold this land, whoever sat on this land for months and months and years and didn't do anything with it, shame on them. Okay? This was beautiful land here. Now, what's happening is the city is becoming very diverse, and I guess we're going through a regentrification like every other city in America. And now, this is what happens when you don't have a vision for the land. People come in the impoverished communities and start buying it up. And this is what they give us, murals. These are all our leaders. These are all the people that did something in the community. That's what they give us, murals. Oh, yeah. And the infamous sunflower gardens. And I told y'all back then when they was putting sunflower gardens out here, I said, what good does that do the community? Really, what good does that do the community? Sunflower seeds, sunflower plants. It's like we can't eat sunflower plants. They didn't even give us a garden over here. And this is a primarily black community, okay? What I heard about the central planning is that the inner city now up this way, this is going to be considered downtown Boston. And when our politicians got locked up maybe like 8 to 10 years ago, I knew something was going on because they district the communities. Okay, redistricting. All right, that changed the voting demographic, you know, when they redistricted the area. They were not redlining, I'm not going to use that word, but pretty much ousting the black politicians. They locked them up. Senator Diane Wilkerson and Chuck Turner, may he rest in peace. They locked them up. Okay, when they was trying to inform the community about what is going on. This is why you should vote. You understand? And they put the Spanish woman over there in Sister Senator Diane Wilkerson's seat. The Diaz lady, okay? And let me tell you something. All up and down the street is nothing but Spanish businesses. Not that I disagree because, you pay like you weigh into businesses. However, the black community has not benefited from living in this community. Our sons were locked up and murdered in the streets. Our daughters turned to drugs, and they are also locked up, families broken up. They pretty much ravished the black community, okay? Had people being informants, turning on one another, you know? But they didn't tell you the diabolical plan that they had in mind when they had you going against each other. I don't know if this is happening in your community, but it is happening in my community. All this beautiful land, all of this beautiful land, they probably break ground next year. The person who told me that she normally have her events on this land, but she told me she might not have it next year because they have sold the land. And I knew that was going on because behind this yellow shed, there was a historical building called the Freedom House. Okay, it's now right there, this building that's facing us over here with the yellow pane, yellow and blue paint, window panes. That's the new Freedom House, but the Freedom House that they tore down behind the shed over there, that was where Martin Luther King visited. And let me tell you something, that was done sneakily. It was like one day I looked across the field, I was like, oh my gosh, the Freedom House is gone. And I was amazed that that even happened, that took place. Okay? This is an atrocity that people who really maintain these communities and lost blood in these communities and all these black communities don't have anything to show for it. Okay, and then when our children go to jail and they come home, they can't even work. They're still penalized. They're being double penalized because now they have a criminal record. No one's going to hire them. They can't go and live in the community because they broke the laws. Not that it's their fault, it's the people's fault. But hey, as I always heard, the question was always asked, asked, who gave them the guns? Who put the drugs in the community? Okay? When you hear the movies, like the Scarface, New Jack City, all the entertainment that basically swayed the youth's mind. You gotta remember, our young men who went to jail were youth. Okay? It gave them the recipe for disaster. And them not knowing any better and coming from poverty, they bit the apple. And this is what happens now. The remnants of the community is like there's nothing black people established. This is not, Boston, Massachusetts is not a thriving community for black folks. And now you have the foreign people coming in here from different countries, like the Pakistanians, the Indians, and what other race, the Haitians. They're all coming in here and they're flooding the community. So now our children are fighting for the resources because now they too are considered minorities in the community, And that's unfair because our children lost blood out here in these streets from them allowing the guns to be in the community. Who brought these guns here? You understand? It's just a travesty what's going on in the black community. I read a report in one of the newspapers how they took people's property for not paying taxes on it and then sold it to a non-profit community for $200. And those people were like, why you wouldn't sell it back to us for $200? And some clauses have it where black people could never own the land or the building that they took from them. This is all by design. When I do these surveys, they talk about black people in the economy, not immigrants or colored folks. They talk about black people in the economy, and our state and condition. How come black people are the last on the totem pole? You know, like, this is just ridiculous. If you wanted to spend your money in the community with a black retailer, a small black business, you really just can't. And the black businesses that are in the community are like dispensaries. And it's like, are you serious? And they're located by churches. Okay? We got more churches in the community and liquor stores. It's like everything that is for the community, say like a nonprofit, it's so high you can't even afford to send your children there. Okay? I just got a free zoo pass. Well, it wasn't free, but because of my circumstances, I was able to get it at a discounted rate. But most women in the community got 4 and 5 children, 2 and 3. And those tickets for me was like $17. So if you want to take your family out on an outing event, how can you do that? It's like what? Almost $60, okay, to take out your family. How can you afford that? Food is high, rent is higher. I'm pretty certain the electricity rates are changing as well as, the gas, and I can imagine what it's going to be like this winter for people who have to purchase oil because it's like, I heard oil is almost like the drug game, you know? So imagine that if you was paying $1 a gallon. I believe before in the past it was almost like $2 back in the days when I got it when it raised. You can't even go a whole winter. You have to come out your pocket and buy oil, even with the assistance that you receive from the government. You know, this is what we got to think about when we looking at voting and who we're going to put in office, because one day we're not going to be here and our children are going to be here. And the looks of it now is there's nothing being established for the black community and culture. And they say, what role do we play? What role do we play as black people in society? We must play a big role because it wouldn't be on a ballot. It wouldn't be a question asked in the survey. You know? It's like, this is ridiculous. And it's painful to see that, this is what's happening in a predominantly black community. All we think about is here. Nails, and they're getting the money off of that too. It's mad hair braiding salons in our community, and sisters talking about, I don't mind giving them the $200. They should get more space. $200 and $300 for your hair. You're not working for that money. Somebody's helping you, because that is not a wise investment. You understand? It's like you're paying that like every 2 months, every 3 months to get your hair done. You're giving the salon like almost $900 to get your hair done. There was so many school children with hair down to past their waist. I'm like, oh my goodness, And what are the men doing? And the women too. Looking, watching, nails done. Everybody in Nana got nails. Everyone's investing into fake hair at a mile a minute. It's like society is really going down the toilet. And I can't even say when it comes to spending leisurely on a look, it's really black people. It seems to be taking everyone by a storm. These hairstyles and, these nail salons, you know. Even when you live in the white community, they're more about preserving the nails. They get them done too, but they're more about preserving their natural, you know, beauty, as opposed to us. We're more about destroying it. Them nails, they mess your fingers up, you know, and the hair makes you bald at some point. My daughter told me that hair is heavy. That hair is very heavy. I was like, what? She was like, yeah, it used to give me a headache, Ma. I was like, really? So, no, it does damage. That's my point. It gives you headaches. It gives you alopecia. A lot of black women have alopecia now from wearing them hairstyles, hair down to their behind. Whatever you do have left is taking it out your head. If you did have hair, you're becoming bald down to the skiz out. It's like, it's an atrocity what's going on. As far as image, as far as state of being, your mind, your mindset. It's scary, because it's all around you. It's all around you. And it's like you can't even avoid it. Even little girls be having their hair done like that. Little tiny babies. Like, let them kids grow up. Let them understand their own natural beauty before you start tampering with it. Telling them, this is better. After they take it out and they see the destruction that it has done, then they realize this isn't better. I ruined myself. I know that's what they think. Even the hair perms, we had to get hair perms. Now there's a big lawsuit going on where hair perms had some type of chemical in it disguised as fragrance, and it was giving women ovarian cancer, especially black women. You gotta love your natural beauty, who you are, You just gotta do that. Before the hair perms came in, we used to straighten our hair. That was more safer than perming your hair and putting chemicals and dye and all of that in it. You keep saying, what is causing people to have cancer in the community? It has to be food. It has to be the things that you're putting in your body, seeping into your body slowly but surely. Slowly but surely. It's just really, really bad, And I'm not saying that we're the only one doing it. I'm saying it's a lot of people that do it. But like, you read what's in the food today, you need to read what's in some of these products you're putting in your hair and on your body that's messing you up. It's like, it's ridiculous, man. And it's sad, because once you ruin the real thing, it's hard to get back. Only if you got God with you. But if you don't, you got to live with that effect. And that's the truth, I swear, I looked up 10 thriving black communities. And that's based on education. That's based on work. That's based on, just that community that is up and running, successful and growing. That's what that's based on. It's not based on, like, the crime and all of that. Like, I don't want to leave my city and go to a worse city. You know what I mean? I want to go to a city where it's not, you're not shunned for doing the right thing. You're not shunned you know? As a little baby said, they look like they got two pillows in their pants. Like even the kids is noticing like something's wrong, but you thinking that's cute and you're older than a kid. It's like, oh my gosh, you know, it's ridiculous. And we keep putting people in that it's our best interest, you know, that turns a blind eye when they see the black culture doing bad and the way it coming down to the haves and have nots, like that Tyler Perry show, haves and have nots. That's what it's really coming down to. It's no more like median ground. Used to be poor, middle class, and rich. Now it's really coming down to middle class, and that's making over six figures, almost like a quarter mil with two people in a household, or like at least 100 and something thousand to the rich, the haves and have nots. That's what it's really coming down to. No more and no less. Everything's going up. Inflation, everything is going up. It's like after the pandemic, everything started going up, started going on the rise, and the jobs wasn't matching the prices. So when they get upset because these foreigners come in here and they're willing to work for something versus nothing, you know, you can't blame them because what happens when they don't? Look at Washington. Look at Washington. Look at Cali. Look at Boston. You know, look at what's happening with people just turning to the streets, and they done made it a law now. You just can't go and set up shop and live on the streets. And you're going into the shelters. You have 5 days now, or you know, you ain't getting after 5 days. They booting you to these streets. They went and started meeting people at the different places, talking about don't come to Boston. The rent is high. If you do a search for housing here, you'll be like, oh my gosh, you know, it's a little few more pennies than what you make. That's how they keep you out the game. They told me to live in a bad neighborhood, not with a good rating, where people is all constantly murdered and the crime rate is high. I need to make $6,000 for a one bedroom. A one bedroom. I was like, are you serious? You understand? Are you serious? But they were serious. They told me they wouldn't even show me the place if I didn't make that type of income. Shit. I was like, oh my gosh. And it's everywhere. It's not just in Boston, it's everywhere. That's how they keep you out the housing, by raising the rent just a few pennies over your income. You know what I mean? It's disgusting what's going on in society. So when you talk about voting, they talk about gun laws and all of this. I'm not going to vote to ban semi-automatic rifles and all of that because you never know the people you gotta shoot down, you know? I just really just don't know. The kids are not even safe in school anymore. And, you know, you talking about banning rifles and everything. And that school shootings are happening everywhere now. It used to be only one group of people doing school shootings. Now, even in our communities, they're doing school shootings. Kid get mad. They want to go and kill up everything. It's like, are you serious? Grow some damn balls. Okay? You never had. That's why you should discipline your kids, because they know what it feels like to get whipped. All right? Not killed, but whipped. Okay? They acting like they ain't never got hit before. Now they gonna go and spend the rest of their life in jail and somebody gonna beat on them in jail and make them their he, she. Believe me. Discipline your kids, bring them up in the word. What is that? The right thing. You know what I mean? Start teaching your kids right, man. Instead of co-signing foolishness and saying it's all right, because when you look up again, you might not even have a generation to leave behind, a legacy. On that note, y'all have a good night and thank you for watching.